Hey folks, just a reminder to check out my other channel, How to Rock Spirit, where I talk about everything under the sun, from astrology to mysticism to psychedelic yoga to practical materialism and philosophy too. Hope to see you there. Namaste. Hello again today, folks. How you doing? My name's Dustin Cormier, and you guys are watching How to Rock a Campfire. I'm excited for this one. This is going to be cool. So I'm doing a tune today by Neil Young. He's a Canadian artist, and I'm a Canadian, and I love Neil Young. He's a Scorpio just like me, and he's one of my favorite artists. He always has been. I'm just like that 70s type of guy, right? So this is a song called Harvest Moon. This is a nice little tune. It's one of his later tunes. It's got like it's one of his softer songs, obviously not one of his harder ones, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this tune that's just great stuff for any guitarist to learn. There's two parts to this song that I'm going to try to show you guys that are, like I said, they're an incredible sounding thing to have two people doing at the same time. There's the one part where you're playing lower down here on the D chord, down, 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 down. And then there's the other part where you're actually just playing up here. Now, Neil Young's he's kind of got a constant suspended second note. If you look at this is your D chord. The suspended second is just by taking off, by having that open E string open throughout the whole thing. Because that open E string, E is the second note in the D scale. You can't, D is the first note, E is the second, right? D, E is the second. So the second chord that we're doing up here is basically, it's sort of like, this is kind of how this chord theory works for this tune. When you do an F chord, you take, it's sort of not like a four-fingered F chord. You put your second finger on the second fret of the G string. First finger you bar on the C note, and the B string and the E string on the first fret. And that's what makes an F chord, obviously, right? Now, if you take your third finger off of that and your fourth finger, if you're doing a four-fingered, you're just left with, well, this is a D minor seventh, right? But let's pretend that we're doing a D chord, and on the face of the D chord is an F, okay? Because this is like our F chord right here. If we bring this up, like with the third finger here, this is a G chord, right? This is our F chord, and then this is a G chord, and then this is an A chord, this is a B chord, this is a C chord right here. This is literally a C chord. Now the point is what we're doing is we're going to lift this up to a D chord. Now imagine you're doing your D chord and just leave your bass string open like that. This is basically a D chord with the face of it, a D on the bass and D on the face, just the face is brought up really high. D, D. Now what we're doing for this particular D chord, this is kind of the fun you can have on a guitar, is instead of barring our first finger, we're just going to drop it, like I said, so that it's got that constant suspended second going out. And that's what makes that really pretty chimey sound that he gets going on for this tune. For this particular part anyway, right? So what I like to do, I guess I'll show you the more complicated thing. Yeah, I'm already on the roll with it. I might as well go with it. So I'm going to show you guys this more complicated thing, and then I'm going to show you an easier way to play it for guitarists who want to play this song by themselves. If you're going to play this song by yourself at a bar or something like that, I suggest the D chord version. Right? Come a little bit closer. But if you can do this, though, you have one person doing the easier version down here, and then you have another person doing this part up here, which is a little bit more complex. Not that much more complex, though. It's the same chords, you know, just like brought up in a funky sort of way. So what we're doing is we're doing that D chord, style chord all the way up here, and we're leaving that suspended second up there, okay? What we're doing is, just like down here, what we're doing with the D chord, we're adding the sixth note. That's what adds that kind of funky note that leads into this major seventh chord that we're going for. Okay? So this note right here is an A note. Yep. Yeah, that's right. An A note, the A is obviously the fifth of the D chord. If you're gonna look in your D chord, D, E, F sharp, G, A, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that A note, A, like that's your A string, that's the low one, and that's just a higher octave of it, and so is this higher octave. My point is to show you that we're doing a D chord, and that this note right here, which is the A note, we're adding, we're gonna do the first chord is just this D chord with that high suspended second. Then the second time you strum it, you've got your third finger on the 12th fret of the B string now, and that's obviously the 12th fret of the B string is a B note. B is the sixth of the D chord. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Right? So we're going basically D suspended second to a D suspended second add sixth. And then, see, you know, it looks easy, but, you know, once you start adding all these chord names and stuff, it sounds a little bit more complicated. But it only sounds complicated. It's really not that as complex as my words are making it seem. We're going from this high D chord, suspended second, always there. D suspended second, add, I guess it's more like a D sixth add ninth, when you think about it. Because the ninth and the second are the same thing. The E note, if you think of the D as the first, E is also going to be the second, but you can also think of the D note as an eighth. So it's nice when you, the chord theory makes sense. Instead of saying D suspended second add sixth, you can just say that this chord right here is a D sixth and you're adding a ninth. Because E, the high E note, is also the ninth of the D chord. Anyway, I'm getting way too complex with this theory here, so I'm just gonna go. We've got D add ninth, D sixth add ninth, and then the D major seventh is how you get that like high, that really highest sounding note. So you're going D, yep, D add ninth, D add ninth, D add ninth, D sixth add ninth, and then D major seventh. And then you let it go right at the upstroke of that last phrase. I'll show you that in part in a moment. So that's that whole high part of this song, theoretically and everything. Now I'm going to show you that the lower part of this song that I'm going to do, that I like to have two people going at the same time, is this same chords, just like a different way of playing it, but it's the same musical theory, right? We're going to start in our D chord. What we're doing, what I like to do on the lower part is I actually start in an actual D chord, because it doesn't sound as good when you have the D add ninth in there. Oh, I don't know. I guess go by feel. It's not that bad actually when you start off with the D add ninth. Yeah, user preference anyway, right? I'm thinking in terms of like if I were to play this song by myself at a bar, I would start with the D chord, then I would add the D sixth. So, well, yeah, you're going from a D to a D sixth, and then you're doing a D major seventh, add ninth. Okay. Now you couldn't do that up here. You couldn't add the ninth up here, up on the high version of the D major seventh. Because there's no open strings left for you to do it, right? That's why you want to try to have two people doing the two different guitars. One guy's up here on this D major seventh, and one person can be down here on the D major seventh with the added ninth. Remember that open E string is the add ninth, or a suspended second. So we're going D chord, D6. Now, I'm adding the add ninth, and that's the open E string, but I'm also dropping my third finger from what's usually on the third fret of the B string. I'm dropping that down to the second fret of the B string. That's what I'm doing. D, D6, and then D major 7th, add 9th, right? You've got the add 9th, which is the high E, and then this major 7th, which is the second fret of the B string. That's the C sharp note. Because C sharp is the major 7th of the D chord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, do, ti, do. 7th, 8th. Yeah, so that is pretty much the kind of confusing part of the whole thing anyway. So from those two chord progressions, you can choose which one you want to do if you're going to do it by yourself or both with another person. Yeah. Sometimes I like to do these little bass notes, A, D. Yep. So I'm going to show you guys that little harmonic trick before I go on. Basically what I'm doing is I'm basically going 12th fret of the E, 12th fret of the B string, 12th fret of the G string, and then there's a little boom 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 boom. You want to try to get it. It's a little bit fast, but it's I think it's what he does anyway. You're going E string, B string, G string, and then D, A, D string, A string. And what he's doing is that you hit the 12th fret, and then you quickly hit the 7th fret of the A string, right? Bam, 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 bam. Right? Bam, 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 bam. Yeah. Oh, I guess I should mention, when you do this high style of chord, I suggest you use your second finger for the B string and your third finger for the G string, and then you use your pinky to go up to the 12th fret on the B, because then you've got your first finger freed up to go to the 9th fret to hit that high C sharp note. You've got your first finger freed up to go there. Come a little bit closer. Hear what I have to say. We got children sleeping, can dream this night away. Now, if I'm playing this song with another person, like I said, I like to have it so that one person's doing this ooh harmony, and there's two of them, actually. It's nicest if you got, like, 2 guitar players and then a third singer, right? 2 guitar players singing and then a third singer. That's Neil Young. He's got layers and layers, right? So when you go to this G chord, basically what I like to have is I'll have one person going ooh. The second chord, that other note is like, the first one's like, that's a B note, got a full moon rising. And then the other one will be the 5th of the G chord, which is the D note. And you can even have one person doing, if you can get another harmony in there. A lot of people like to do that high G note. That's the high G note. The D note, right? Now that's that whole thing. We know where the music's playing. Let's go out and feel the night. 'Cause I'm still in love with you. I wanna see you dance again. So that's the part that we're going to the next part, right? This part doesn't usually have any harmonies or anything like that, I don't think, anyway. And basically what we're doing for this part, it's kind of a funky thing. We're going from a G6/A, and what that is like I was saying, you know. So this is our we'll go to our F chord, right? We're gonna do a 3-fingered F because we're gonna play with it a little bit with what we're doing. You do an F chord like this, and if you want to do an F major 7th, you just basically don't bar the E string on there. You just leave the E string open, right? Now if we want to make a G6th, what we're doing is we're lifting this F chord up to the G chord. But if we leave the high E string open, that makes that adds the 6th note of the G chord. Because when you'll notice, if you do the G scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, G, A, B, C, D, E, right? G, A, B, C, D, E, first. So the E note is the 6th of the G scale in the regular G scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. So when you do a G chord, like an F-style chord, with your 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the D string, right? Usually you do your G chord with that full bar, but we're taking it off, and you're leaving that high E string open. That makes the G6th, because the high is the 6th of G. And we're leaving the A on the bass for this chord. It's just such a weird thing. It's, you know, only Neil Young can make this sort of funky thing that he's got going on. He's got the G6/A chord. 'Cause I'm still in love with you. And then all he does is just it's so funny, you know. It's so complicated the way I explain it, but it's really simple. All he's doing is he's taking that G chord and lifting it up 2 frets. So it's like an A chord. Now A the high E string is a natural chord in the A chord anyway. So it's like you're doubling up this E chord, this E string. Sorry, I keep saying chord. You're doubling up this E note with the high E note that's there naturally. And it gives it a sort of pretty sound when you got 2 notes that are the same notes played on 2 different strings, right? First you're going from the G6/A. 'Cause I'm still in love with you. I wanna see you dance again. 'Cause I'm still in love with you. On this harvest moon. And when you go to that A chord, sometimes I like to go to the A7th just before the D, right? 'Cause I'm still in love with you. Because if I go to this style of A7th chord, I can also run up the bass up to the D chord. That's just me as a bass player. I use my 1st finger and my 3rd finger to go from the open A to the B note to the C sharp, but with the pinky, and then into that D chord. So that is all the chords in the whole tune right there. So that when they do that, because I'm still in love with you on this harvest moon. They do this phrasing, that what I just did, you know, in the D. They pretty much do that 4 times, and then they go back into the verse again. When we were strangers, I watched you from afar. Every now and then I try to get this. It's a weird thing. When you're in that D chord, and you try to go from you put your first finger on the E, the second fret of the E string, the second fret of the D string, then you use your pinky to go to the 4th fret of the D string, and it makes that bow bow, a very subtle thing. It's a weird thing to do by yourself because you want to be able to go back into the rest of the chords, but if you got everybody else doing the regular chords, you can have one guy and that's that weird thing that he's adding in there anyway. So second verse, when we were strangers, I loved you from afar, blah blah blah. When we were lovers, I loved you with all my heart. But now it's getting late, and the moon is climbing high. Blah blah blah. I want to celebrate, see it shining in your eyes. Blah blah. And now it goes to the G6/A, 'cause I'm still in love with you. I wanna see you dance again, because I'm still in love with you on this harvest moon. You know what I'm talking about. So then it does that for 4 more phrases, just like last time, and then it goes into the solo part. I don't have my harmonica on me. I will in the video. So now this is the whole for the solo part. Obviously, it's right after that after those 4 phrases. He goes into the G part, and this is where he'll be on the harmonica. Same thing, G chord, and then it goes, instead of, I guess, yeah, what I'm trying to say is that when you go into the solo, you don't go to the E minor on the solo part, you just skip right to the G. You do the G, and then you do the D again, and then you do the G, and then you do the D again, and then this is when you come at the very end, the last thing he does, the last lyrics, is the G6/A into the because part. 'Cause I'm still in love with you, I wanna see you dance again, 'cause I'm still in love with you on this harvest moon. And then that's, you know, you fade out. And then you would kind of fade out from there, right? So, beautiful tune, man. Just the chimey, all these chimey things that he does. And it is complicated. Like, you know, the thing is that sometimes music, man, music is just something that comes out of your ears. Like, you can't craft the chords for something like this. You just gotta go through it, play something like, you know, you do one chord. Oh, so this is my F chord. Maybe if I play it up here, oh, that sounds kind of weird, but it sounds good, you know. Maybe if I do this and just bring it up 2 chords, oh, that doesn't really make sense, you know, but sometimes the ear knows better than the mind. You know, Neil Young was probably not thinking of all the theory like I do when he was making these chords. He's probably just going, oh, I guess that works. Bring it up 2 frets, that's not bad. Maybe I'll put that in a song, you know? Yeah, that's, you know, some people work that way, man. You know, you let the music make itself rather than making a schematic out of it. Anyway, so that was Harvest Moon by Neil Young. Now I'm going to show you guys a video of me and my family playing the song that we did a bunch of tunes for Family Day. It's like where here in Ontario, Canada, we've got a holiday where we all get together on Family Day, and my family just has a few beers and plays guitar, and this is what it looks like. It's a little bit messy, but it's family anyway. So I hope you guys dug this, and I hope you guys dig this cover of it right now. Okay. It did sound like that. And once everybody's ready to go. I'm ready. Born ready. Okay. Cue. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Up there, was that?
No, that's it.